Hello everyone. In the last lecture, we discussed introduction about the entity relationship model. We discussed ER diagram, attributes, different types of attributes. In this lecture, we discuss what is a degree, different types of degree relationships, key constraints which can be used in database management system, class hierarchy of DBMS like concept generalization, specialization, and aggregation, and various examples of a entity relationship diagram. Now we start degree of a relationship. What do you mean by degree of a relationship? The degree of a relationship, it is a number of entity types that participated in a relationship. It means in a relationship, how many entities are participated. If in a relationship, two entities are participated, then this type of relationship can be called as a degree of a relationship. There are basically three most common relationship in a ER models are unary relationship, binary relationship, and third one is the ternary relationship. Now we start unary relationship. A unary relationship is a when both participants and the relationships are the same, belong from the same entity. It means if there is a only one entity, that name is subject and the relation name is requestee for. So subject may be requestees for other subjects, that can be this relationship of can be called as a this type of relationship can be called as a unary relationship. Now we start binary relationship. What is a binary relationship? If two entity sets are participated in a particular relationship set, like in a binary relationship, when two entities are participated is the most common relationship degree. That type of relationship in this diagram we see that teachers is the relationship. We having a participation entities teachers and subjects. टीचर्स रिलेशनशिप में दो एंटिटीज पार्टिसिपेट कर रही है, एक टीचर एक सब्जेक्ट. सो दैट टाइप ऑफ रिलेशनशिप कैन बी कॉल्ड एज ए बाइनरी रिलेशनशिप. नाउ वी डिस्कस टर्नरी रिलेशनशिप. टर्नरी रिलेशनशिप इज व्हेन three entities are participated in a single relationship. The name of relationship is CST, course, subject and teacher. For example, the university might need to record with teachers taught with subjects, which subjects in which courses. टीचर्स कौन से कोर्सेज में कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स को पढ़ा रहा है. दिस टाइप ऑफ रिलेशनशिप कैन बी कॉल्ड एज ए टर्नरी रिलेशनशिप. दिस टर्नरी रिलेशनशिप CST contain three different entities: course, teachers and subjects. Now we start key constraint in a DBMS. Constraint, what is the definition of a basic definition of a constraint? Constraint, it means some enforces some rules enforces limit to the data or type of a data. If we want to apply any restrictions on a particular column, on a particular table, then we apply the constraint. Constraint can be apply restrictions on the insertion, on the updation, on a deletion operations from a table. Rules that are followed while entering into columns of the database tables can called a constraint. There are different types of a constraint. Basically, we discussed there are five types of constraints: primary key constraints, unique key constraint, not null constraint, check constraint, and the last most important constraint is a foreign key constraint. Now we start primary key constraint. What is a primary key? A primary key, it is a attribute. It is a attribute which can be uniquely determine, uniquely identify from a table or new record in a database. Example, a student ID which can be uniquely determined to a detail of the student. Employee ID is also used there, uniquely determine ID details of the employee. Now we discuss how we create or how we apply the primary key in a table. Suppose create table name is employee. Employee is a table. In this table, employee ID, first column, data type is number 8, and the primary key has been applied. Name varchar 2, length is 20, age number 3, course varchar 2. In this table we see that employee ID working as a primary key, name for varchar 2, age number 3, course varchar 2. It means 4 columns in which employee ID is the primary key. how that type of constraint can be called as a primary key constraint. Now we discuss unique key constraint. First we discuss what is the difference between a primary key and unique key. Primary key, it is a unique and should be not null. Unique key is also a unique data, but it may be null. If we want to apply unique key data in a column of a database table, this is possible using a unique constraint like employee ID, email ID, create table employee ID. In this table, we see that employee ID working as a primary key, name, where, age, and email ID working as a unique key constraint. It means in if we want to insert a different email id for a same email id for more than one users, then it is not acceptable, constraint is violated, and we gives error he gives error, the Oracle server gives error that carries key constraint violation. That type of constraint can be called as a unique key constraint. Now we discuss not null constraint. A not null constraint, it means a value which cannot be inserted as a null. When we apply a not null constraint into a particular column, that particular column cannot be inserted as a null at the time of insertion. Once not null is applied to a particular column, you cannot enter null values to the particular column. Example, age in the employee table. Create table name employee ID working in this we use constraint primary key name varchar to 20, age 3 not null, email ID varchar to 20. In a age, we say that in a age we apply the constraint not null. It means if whenever we want to insert detail of a student, then age cannot be inserted as a null attribute. Now we discuss next constraint, that is called check constraint. If the data entered by the user for the column is within the range of a value or possible value specified, if the data entered by the user for that column is within the range of a value or possible values specified, example, age of the employee must be greater than 18 years. Like create table name employee ID working as a primary key, name there is no constraint, age, in age we see that check age is greater than 18. It means whenever we demand a input from the user, then our system or Oracle server check if the age is less than 18, then this entry is not permitted. If the age is greater than 18 or 18, then it should be entry will be permitted in the employee table. Now we start next constraint, foreign key constraint. Foreign key constraint apply at most minimum two tables, like that is a parent table or a child table. If a column or a list of column which points to the primary key column to the another column, it means if we use two tables, employee table and a department table, primary key of department table is a department ID, which can be considered as a foreign key in the employee table. In the example, we see that employee table department ID is a foreign key. Department ID is a foreign key, it is a primary key of the department table. Now we first create a department table. Department ID is the primary key. This primary key or department ID column can be considered as a foreign key constraint in the employee table. We see that department ID number 8, we put a keyword foreign key, references, name of table department, and the column of a particular primary key column, that is called department ID. Now the department ID of employee table working as a foreign key in an employee table. So that type of constraint can be called as a foreign key constraint. Now we discuss class hierarchy in a DBMS. Class hierarchy, like a object-oriented programming, class hierarchy also available in a database management system. Subgrouping of the meaningful and need the represented explicitly because of their significance in the database application. If we use superclass are inherited by the subclasses, particularly primary key attributes. Subclasses can be have additional attributes and a relationship. Now we discuss generalization in a DBMS. What is the meaning of a generalization? Generalization, it means a common attribute can be generalized into a higher level entity, can be called as a supertype or superclass. At the lower level entities can be called as a subclasses. Like we discussed, there are a organization. In an organization there are some employees are part-time, some employees can be considered as a full-time, so represent category of the same entity. So we can generalize employee is a super entity set which having a two types, part-time employee and full-time employee. So employee can be called as a generalization concept of an DBMS, where we can insert part-time employee or as a full-time employee. So employee is the superclass, and part-time employee and full-time employee can be called as a subclass. So generalization is thing, employee is a generalization. Now we discuss specialization. Specialization is the subdivided or defining a set of subclasses. Like any specialization or any category, like a student can be divided into two more parts, regular student or a private student. So regular student and private student are the subclasses, and specialization are the regular student. A specialization can be considered as a private student or open student. Specialization is the process of defining a set of subclasses of an entity type. This entity can be called as a superclass of the specialization. Example, set of subclasses like employee is the superclass, then subclasses may be secretary, maybe engineer, maybe technician is a specialization of the superclass employee. Now we see the example, like employee is the superclass, employee is the generalization, and the secretary, engineer, technicians are the specialization, or it can be called as a subclasses. In this diagram we say that employee is the superclass and technician, engineer and secretary can be called as a subclass. Now we discuss what is the aggregation. Aggregation meaning aggregating the number of rows, number of tuples or number of components. Like abstraction concept for building a composition objects from their component objects. The function supported in SQL average, minimum, maximum, count and sum. Aggregation can itself be a different types of including aggregation, like a relation. From a relation we find maximum marks in a subject, average of all the marks. That type of functions can be called as aggregation functions. The latter aggregation would obviously require some grouping of the group tuples. When we apply any grouping function, that type of function can be called as a aggregation of the function. Now we discuss example of an entity relationship diagram. First example, this diagram is a library management system. In that diagram we see that books, publisher and member, three are the entities. These three are the entities, books, publisher and member. And we see that publish by and borrowed by, publish and borrowed, both are the relationship. What are the attributes of books? Price, title, book ID. Book ID is the primary key because it shows by underline. Author, available. In a publisher entity set, there are a publication ID, address, name. In a member entity set, expiry date, name, address, member type, member date and member ID, or also the entity, are all attributes of a particular entity. This shows the relationship between the different entities. That is called ER diagram for library management system. One more example for ER diagram, we discuss ER diagram for hospital management system. In this diagram we say that doctors and patients and tests, these are three are the entity sets. Tests, log, these are two relationship. Test relationship between the doctors and patients. What are the attributes of doctors? Name, address. Qualification is a multi-valued attribute. If we use multi-valued attributes, then we use double ellipse. Specialization is also multi-valued attributes. When we use primary key, we mark underline. Types, underline. These are the attributes of a relationship. Test is the again entity, and the attributes of test is type and description. This whole represent the entity relationship diagram of the hospital management system. For more examples or details, you can visit these references books. Thanking you.